I was rambling on, so I'm starting over again. I just wanted to bring everybody up to date with where we are at 8 p.m. The storm hasn't weakened. It is going through what is called an eye wall replacement cycle, which would really just extend the hurricane force winds a little bit wider, which is not what you want to see. I don't think it's going to weaken majorly, but it may weaken a little bit. So what? It will still be a major hurricane. It's going to go north of the Dominican Republic as it looks now. It's missed Puerto Rico. It's gone north of there. I'll show you pictures of it as it's spinning north of there. It's just insane. It looks like we'll go up here, and then we'll go towards the Bahamas. So you just got to watch out. The Bahamas are going to get rocked here. So it looks like now it should miss Cuba, but not by far. There are models that still bring it into northern part of Cuba, so please be on the lookout. When it comes into southern Florida, as all models are showing it getting close enough to pretty much cause serious effects on southern Florida, Miami, especially area, it still could be 140 mile per hour winds or higher, which is just a strong category 4 or above. It could be a category 5 still. I don't know. The water temperatures out here are like near 90 degrees. It needs 80 or above. When you get in the 90s, you just have fuel that's just incredible. Most models are showing it strengthening as it gets closer, so just all bad signs. The storm, if it comes on shore, will weaken some, and then it looks like it's going to reemerge and then possibly hit South Carolina and Georgia area. That's if it does go over land. It will weaken. If it stays over the water, it probably will weaken some just because of the drag of Florida, but it won't be major. And I wouldn't count on it either because the water is so warm. When it comes ashore, wherever it comes ashore up here, is just going to be, another devastating blow. So please just heed all evacuation. You just can't mess around. I mean, they're trying to make it real. They're trying to tell you the big deal. You think, oh, it won't come over me. This hurricane's big. It's 400 miles from one end to the other. You're going to get affected somehow if you're in Florida, most likely. And it's just a matter of how much. Depends on exactly track. And then when you get into South Carolina and Georgia, we just got to see where this thing ultimately goes. But you should be already doing good preparations now. Shelter's already opening up in South Carolina if you know you're going to flood. It's amazing. States of emergency up here where people need to get ready. North of here, you need to have like a hurricane kit possibly ready. But you wouldn't need to then start enacting your hurricane plans, whatever they're going to be, evacuation or sticking around by bunkering in place. Honestly, if you're near the coast, 50 miles to 50 miles inland, I would consider going further inland. All right, the storm is expected to come up this way, and then it's going to turn. It's going to turn for all different types of reasons, but the most important one is there's a trough coming down, and that's just a steering current. Doesn't need to get into technical terms. That turn has everything riding on it. If it turns sooner, then maybe we miss Florida. We still get the Bahamas. There's going to be gotten pretty good anyway. If it turns later, more Florida gets hit. And if more Florida gets hit, the impacts north of there won't be as much. But Florida's just the wild card. It's hard to say how much goes on land and how bad it gets. And then if it stays east, we get a serious problem because a historic level storm could hit along the east coast. And so everyone here just needs to stay alert. I'm doing a video because people want to know exactly what do I think. Really, beyond this cone level here, you've got 2 or 3 different tracks. The remnants could track west over here into Kentucky, which is what some things are showing. They could come north through the region of Virginia, North Carolina. They could turn northeast, which is a big possibility. This whole storm could barely miss everything and turning it northeast, which we should all pray it does, is that it turns northeast and just this turns sooner and the trough speeds up and it gets out of here. The faster that hurricane moves is another issue because if it moves faster, it beats the trough, which could sear it out. If it moves slower, yes, it's worse for the people down here, but the trough catches up to it and moves it out faster. So many variables. Pray, because this is a big storm. I'm going to show you what it looks like if I can find the right page, and I think I did. Oh no, this is our local forecast. That's what it looks like here today. This is actually what the hurricane looks like right now. This is Puerto Rico down here. These small islands were affected earlier. And just north of here, this is obviously the eye of the hurricane. It is crazy if you look out and you look careful. It looks like ripples are coming off of this center. Those are called gravity waves. The swells from this are so big, they're causing seismic activity because they're upward and downward motion. This is mesmerizing if you keep looking at it. If anyone's interested, I can send you the link. But anyway, just a beast. I mean, you don't see hurricanes like this usually in the Atlantic, period. You've never seen one in the Eastern Pacific even last this long at this strength. It's just incredible. It could hit 200-mile-per-hour winds when it gets a little further north here and gets into warmer water. As a sustained, it's already got gusts well over 200 miles per hour. Barbados, it showed just insane devastation. All right, my whole point is, if you're in the path, make preparations, get out of the way. Don't rely on anything like good luck, or just because you're in some place you don't think you could get hit, you're going to be okay. This hurricane is enormous, and you could very easily get hit. And I've been on Twitter like crazy. I just want to show you, this is the Jefferson, this is the GFS, what's called the ensembles, people call it spaghetti, whatever. These are all the different runs of the models. We know it's north of these lower tracks, so I wouldn't concentrate on the lower ones. But where this orange is looks probably more likely the track show we would see. I told you we'd kind of go out to Kentucky and things. Let me show you what's different now as we get kind of further along. The spread in uncertainty is getting smaller, and that should continue to shrink over time. But that north turn, I'd say, is the wild card, because although these things are all saying it's going to turn somewhere in here, you see, if it turns earlier, what it could mean, barely a scrape. If it turns much later, we could deal with more of Florida. But I already mentioned, nothing new here. I'm just going through some Twitter feeds here. Here's Barbuda. That's what I meant. I think I said Barbados earlier. Sorry. Barbuda, all the cell towers, they said, are knocked down. So they have no cell service there. And I'm glad I got to this. This was the illustration I wanted to see. So you see all these lines down here pretty tight. I mean, it's still a pretty good spread, but once it gets to this turning point, you see how it gets kind of crazy. I remember seeing a party popper superimposed on one of these one time to show you what it could do. All over the place, right? But I'd say there's a majority saying there's going to be something going on here on the East Coast. And so it's really, really important that everyone stay tuned. And that's it. I don't have anything else to say. I was 7 minutes. It's way too long. I only did a video because I really wanted people to realize, hey, this is nothing. I mean, you cannot play. And I plead with you, if you're on the coast, listen to people, get out. You saw what happened in Houston, and that was just from rain. This is going to be a major wind maker. I don't know what the flooding will be like. If it comes in over here, the mountains, you're going to see some flooding issues and things like that, but it's not going to be what Houston had. But this one is going to be a wave, major storm surge impact, major winds right along the coast, and just a obliteration where the winds come onshore. As one of my great uncle said, after Hugo, I will never do it again. He wrote it out thinking he could, and that storm quickly intensified and then came on shore in South Carolina near Charleston. And he said you could hear things cracking and breaking all night long with winds squealing and screeching. He said it was like a nightmare, and he would never do it again. Heed his advice. Don't do it once and get out of the way.